Good evening, everyone. My name is Jo Priestley, and I will be your MC for the evening. On behalf of the Cultural Resources Commission and the Mission Arts Council, I'd like to welcome you all to the 2020 Virtual Celebration of the Arts. We recognize the mission is on the unceded ancestral territory of the Stolo people, including Kwantlen, Matsqui, Lekwamo, and Scowlitz nations. The celebration of the arts honors those individuals or groups who strive to make our community resonate with creative forms of artistry. The event brings together the arts and cultural community, artists and advocates to ensure that the cultural richness of Mission is celebrated. To begin our evening, it is my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Patricia Huntsman. Patricia is a two-time nationally award-winning cultural strategist. She has worked across Canada and internationally in senior roles in the creative industry for over 25 years. Her British Columbia-based team practice offers a full roster of arts management, cultural policy writing and planning, and communication services tailored to building communities through culture. In 2016, Patricia completed a two-part residency program, New Fundamentals, Leadership in the Cultural and Creative Industries at the Banff Centre. She holds a diploma in French studies from the Sorbonne University in Paris, France, and an MBA from North America's oldest university, the University of New Brunswick, where she also earned a BA in experimental psychology. An avid supporter of visual and performing arts, she has served as a director on notable boards across Canada and maintains active membership in professional associations, including the Canadian Museums Association, the Creative City Network of Canada, and America for the Arts. Please welcome Patricia Huntsman.
Thank you for the introduction, and hello, Mission. To the elders, Mayor Alexis and Council, the Cultural Resources Commission and district staff, and to the entire creative community, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of your special evening. I'm joining you from the Coast Salish territories, and specifically from the ancestral and traditional lands of the Snaanaws First Nations people at Nanoose Bay on Vancouver Island. It's a real honor and a privilege to take part in the Celebration of the Arts Awards in its virtual form, which is just as fun. And in addition to being an opportunity to recognize the notable achievements in the arts community and the immense talent that you have in Mission, I see tonight as an opportunity to really celebrate place. Recognizing where we came from, I'm a direct beneficiary of a community that valued arts and culture, one where there was cultural participation and leadership for over 400 years from a colonial and settler perspective in the Maritimes, or what is known as the Wabanaki Confederacy, where I was raised. In Fredericton, we had internationally recognized arts and cultural resources, such as the Beaverbrook Art Gallery, where I got my start. It is a place where people show up for arts and culture, where there is live music, where there is animation of places and spaces through the arts. You don't have to make the case for arts and culture. And if you have deep pockets, if you have privilege in education and in wealth, you know that this comes with the responsibility to give back. And if you don't, you'll definitely be called out on it. So I think it's easy for us to take for granted these fantastic arts communities like Mission until you live in a community that doesn't have that cultural value and doesn't value this. And sadly, there are many that don't, and especially in British Columbia. So Mission, please be thankful that you are a community that gets it, that sees the value of arts and culture, that it isn't just a frill. So I think it's really important to take that moment to be grateful for what you have, because we need to recognize that so many don't. The need for local cultural leadership is my focus tonight, and its relationship to placemaking in particular and community success. Now, of course, government does not create culture. Government helps enable it through deliberate policies and programs. So it's creating this sort of environment and the context for positive arts community development. But culture is ultimately created by community, and in Mission as a community, you are tremendously proud of the local cultural leadership that you've had, that you've nurtured and you've seen evolve over the years. There are so many notable achievements. I had the real pleasure of going through so many of them in preparation for tonight. But I think what is most important is that you're known as an arts community. You're known as an arts-friendly community. You're not one that I worry about when I hear and compare to different local governments and communities around the province. You have that local cultural leadership. It's known and it's part of your identity of place, and it's part of your pride of place. And it's my wish, of course, that you continue to be able to attract creative workers and cultural supporters for many years to come, and that other communities can take inspiration from your great work. The need for local cultural leadership is one of the 4 barriers to change that I identified as part of my work with Arts BC and Systems Change, which was funded through the Vancouver Foundation and the BC Arts Council. The need for local cultural leadership is substantive in British Columbia communities. It is a barrier that sits within local and regional governments primarily. And it goes back to this idea that the arts are a nice to have or a frill, and that arts and arts activity are not central to the health and success of community life in city and towns in British Columbia. This barrier is really a lack of awareness of the social and economic impact of arts and cultural activity. It also roots down to an individual level, thinking back to the Maritimes example that I mentioned, and that this philanthropic level, where there is a need for increased understanding amongst donors and the need for donor development, that there's also a lack of arts education and knowledge around philanthropy, and this is a big factor in British Columbia. Cultural planning is my field of practice, and it has its roots partly in Indigenous cultural mapping and the understanding of intangible place and cultural resources and assets, and also partly in post-war England and Europe. John Maynard Keynes, whose fiscal policies we have inherited, he was a founding member of the Arts Council of England, and he recognized in the early post-war days that it was essential to fund the arts, and that to see the streets animated with cultural life, as this was critical to restarting the economy. So this is a really important observation. And a major takeaway for us as we approach our phases 3 and 4 in our reopening, and how we oscillate between those and perhaps phase 2, and to safely encourage creative placemaking activities in line with public health, and to recognize arts and culture as not a frill, but as a smart strategy for community and economic wellness. At the beginning of June, I had the privilege of facilitating a day-long session with international festival organizers and artistic directors, and it included lead government representatives such as Canada Council and the British Council, etc. And while it has been an immense struggle for many in our sector in Canada, I do feel it's important that we pause and recognize that at that federal level, that support for Canada's cultural sector, the $500 million early investment on April 20th, was announced the same day as support for traditional sectors that our media and politicians are used to covering, such as the energy sector. For the first time in a very long time, or at least to my memory, the cultural sector wasn't thought of as a frill or a nice to have, but was given the recognition for its place as a $53.4 billion industry that outperforms fishery, agriculture, and forestry combined, or nearly 4% of Canadian GDP. I know I have to wrap this up, but I hope we can take inspiration from the federal and provincial levels of cultural investment that we've seen during COVID in particularly, but to also keep in mind that this cultural investment piece doesn't simply belong on the shoulders of local and regional government. It also takes the community stepping up, and not simply just your arts community, your broader understanding, your chamber of commerce, your downtown business, or whatever it is, that they also really get that culture-led economic and community development makes sense. It is the critical piece often in the success of a community, but it takes donors and businesses stepping up. And I think it's particularly important that audiences understand the impact that closed venues is having on individual artists and arts organizations, not solely in performing arts. I feel, though, that there is a more urgent and critical piece that we're called upon as local cultural leaders at this time, and it's not only to balance artistic vibrancy with community relevancy, or our relevance score, as I like to call it, being community relevant and creatively relevant, but that we're responsible for bringing critical societal discourse to our communities. We're not insular, we're not immune to what's happening in the wider world. We need to remain in dialogue with major societal changes and bring that awareness. Our sector is often ahead on change leadership, and it is our job to push for openness and learning. And at this juncture, to not only be aware, but to more broadly highlight the historical and continuing oppression of Black, Indigenous, and people of color and equity-seeking communities. Finally, on the local cultural leadership front, an article in Canadian Art a couple of summers ago noted that for meaningful art, look to small communities in Canada. This is a critical point, that leading relevant art making and creative placemaking, artistic excellence, does not solely belong to urban environments. It is not just the domain of the city. So being a local cultural leader asks us to step up to that challenge, that we also recognize that we might need to stop watering dead plants. And that's a recent sort of favorite expression of mine, which is to illustrate that in this major moment of societal change, that we also be comfortable with creative destructions, that we shouldn't continue to prop up organizations, institutions, and ways of working that really aren't serving this broader societal change. That we can now sow seeds and nurture new artistic achievements and new artistic ideas, that we embody local cultural leadership on an individual level and recognize that this is critical to mission success in the future. I want to thank you so much for letting me be part of your evening. Congratulations to all the nominees and winners. Keep leading artistic change, keep leading artistic vibrancy, keep leading at the local cultural level. Thank you so much.
Our first performers this evening are nominees Mark Caron, whose musical goal is to bring people together with their funky folk fusion style of musical fun. Let's hear a rousing welcome for Mission's very own Mark Caron.
Our first song that we're going to sing for you tonight is called Time to Fly. A little story about this song. Mark and I wrote this just before we went on tour across Canada last year. And it's about making the changes in your life to actually finally live your dream. wanna to say goodbye and leave the past behind, but I'm staring out on you back, heading for the future, both feet on the ground, eyes wide open. It's time to fly. Well, I hear my dreams calling, and they're filling me with hope. It's a chance to live my life and give it all I have, 'cause I'm stepping out on your path, heading for the future. Both feet on the ground, eyes wide open. It's time to fly. 'Cause I'm stepping out on your path, heading for the future. Both feet on the ground, eyes wide open. It's time to fly. 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 It's time to fly.
Thank you, Mark Aaron. And now, for the reason that we are here tonight, the awards. The first category of awards is Emerging Artist. The artists in this category are within the first 2 years of achievement in their field of arts endeavor and will be given in music, performing arts, and visual arts. Our first category is Emerging Artist Music. Our first nominee is Anderson Kite. Anderson decided to play the violin at age 3. At age 12, he has achieved a confident mastery of the violin and piano in various genres. He was selected to perform at the closing ceremonies of the 2010 BC Winter Games in Mission and the 2016 BC Summer Games in Abbotsford. Anderson performs regularly for community events and organizations and is comfortable on stage as a senior member of the Abbotsford Youth Orchestra. Our second nominee in the Emerging Artist Award is Mackenzie Widows. Hailing from the rainforest of Vancouver Island, Mackenzie first explored music composition in a songwriting class at an art-based summer camp and released his debut album, Macadamia, on June 21st, 2019, earning him a Fraser Valley Music Award in November of the same year. Today, Mackenzie is working on his second album, Back to Macadamia, while completing a bachelor degree in visual arts and literature at the University of the Fraser Valley. At the core of Mackenzie's work is an affinity for lightheartedness, nature, and a reverence for every day. Marilyn, would you like to announce the winner, please?
And the winner is Mackenzie Widows. Congratulations, Mackenzie. Yay!
Yay, Mackenzie!
What an honor to be getting the Celebration of the Arts Award. I'm so thankful for everyone who made this possible and all the nominees who make Mission such a culturally rich environment. Thank you so much.
Our next award is Emerging Artist Visual Arts. Our first nominee in this category is Michaela Castle. Michaela is an emerging artist who has been focused on studying visual arts and improving her skills. She enjoys working in many different mediums, including graphite pencil, to create hyper-realistic portraits. She has displayed her artwork in many shows and galleries in Mission, including the 2020 Peggy Staber Memorial Exhibition at the Mission Arts Council Gallery. Michaela's goal is to continue to create pieces that will raise awareness towards important issues she is passionate about. Our next nominee is Sabrina Boulay. Sabrina creates ceramic objects for the home that are meant to enhance the experience of the everyday. Sabrina studied at the Emily Carr University, receiving her BFA in Visual Arts in May 2020. She also engaged in a summer intensive program at the Studio Arts College International in Florence, Italy, studying sculpture and Renaissance art history. Sabrina enjoys the challenge of working with clay as a medium. She is constantly experimenting, searching for interesting textures, new glaze interactions, and give energy to the pots she makes. Our next emerging artist nominee is Marley Penner. Marley is a 13-year-old Mission artist who has been drawing since she could hold a pencil. Her parents recognized her gift at a very young age and have always made sure to provide her with the space and tools she needed to prolifically create. Marley has a very active Instagram account where she documents her process and shares her growth as an artist. She is still discovering herself, new tools and methods, and spends her days creating in her room while balancing it out with regular teen life. Marilyn, could you announce the winner, please?
And the winner is Sabrina Boulay.
Yay! Sabrina!
Thank you to the CODA jury, the CRC, and the MAC for giving me this Emerging Artist Award. I would like to thank my network of support from my family to my community for always being there for me as I follow my artistic career.
We now move on to Emerging Artists Performing Arts. Our first nominee is Petra Atebi. Petra grew up in Mission and has always loved being part of this wonderful community. She has been involved with the opening night theatre for most of her life, both on stage as an actor and behind the scenes as a stage manager. Her performances include Ravenscroft, How It Works, The Art of Murder, and numerous roles in most of the Christmas pantomimes. Petra is honored to have been nominated for this award. Our next nominee is Sophia Bice. Sophia is an actor and musician. She has been performing on stage since her youth and will continue to the end. Most of her acting experience has come from 9 years of annual pantomime performances at the Opening Night Theatre Society. Taught to play violin at a young age by her mom, she now focuses on piano, saxophone, and accordion. Marilyn, would you like to announce the winner, please?
The winner is Sophia Bice.
Yay! Sophia!
Thank you, everyone, for this absolutely amazing opportunity. The amazingness of this platform is just the way it can recognize artists, the unique individuals and groups around Mission, because the community needs to see how people can flourish even in the wake of a pandemic. So while we're inside, there's a great time to practice your instruments, to practice your lines if you're in a play. It's an absolutely amazing time to work on your skills.
Congratulations to all the nominees and award winners in the Emerging Artist category. We look forward to your future success. We now move on to the Arts Advocate Awards. Whether a business, organization, individual, or an educator in a specialized field, an advocate is someone who has supported the startup, renewal, or sustainability of arts and culture in mission. Our first Advocate Award is Mentor Educator. This year, the award will be given posthumously to Molly Magid. Molly was a professional artist and educator dedicated to enhancing ceramic arts in the community. She was a prolific artist specializing in hand building who achieved acclaim for her work regionally, nationally, and internationally. Molly opened her studio on 2nd Avenue in 2009 and began teaching classes for students of all ages and experience, focusing on working with special need learners. She helped organize and develop programs, brought in renowned national and international artists as visitors, participated in workshops and conferences. In leading such an active and creative life, Molly found her bliss.
I am a hobby potter. Before I moved to Mission, I took most of my classes in Vancouver, and then I walked into Molly's studio and thought, okay, Mission's going to be a good place to live.
Molly was a very prolific ceramic artist. She did her background in photography and fine art and then went on to do ceramics at university. She started the studio approximately 10, 12 years ago in Mission because there was a need for a ceramic arts program in the community, and built up her clientele doing children and youth programs, adult programs, and working with the autistic community on doing pottery as a wellness as well.
She was just really supportive, really open, and probably one of the most accepting people I've met in a long, long time. She would always say, "What are you working on today?" when I came in. And then she would just sort of be doing her own thing, but say, you know, I think I have this would really work well for texture, or, oh, don't do that. Or she would just always give her input. And because I liked her pieces, I just followed what she was teaching me.
Our Wednesday night sessions are drop-in, and it can be done, you just come here on a Wednesday night between 7 and 9:30 and you drop in and do clay. And then for those that want to take an actual hand building course, we have adult classes on a regular basis. We have children and youth classes and things for spring break and weekends. Mission Clayworks was one of the first open clay studios in the Fraser Valley, and Molly started it. So we're very happy to be able to continue that legacy through the Mission Arts Council and continue Mission Clayworks and the Molly Magid Studio.
And now we move on to the Arts Advocate Business Awards. The nominees are small, independent, or corporate businesses that have given expertise, advertising, services, or financial aid to a cultural or arts undertaking in Mission. The first of our nominees in this category is Simone Redburn of Redburn Lockhart Real Estate Group. Simone was born and raised in Mission and has always kept strong ties with the community. After Simone and her husband Ross started their family, they moved back to Mission to raise their children closer to the family. The move also allowed Simone, a new realtor, to partner with her mother and establish the Redburn Lockhart Real Estate Group. An avid supporter of the arts, the Redburn Lockhart Real Estate Group has organized, hosted, and sponsored 4 public art exhibitions and sales events for local Mission artists and artisans. Our next nominee is Alan Nguyen of What's On magazine. By trade, Ellen is a school teacher with a BA in English and a PDP certificate from SFU. It was there that she grew her love of learning and writing. After having 2 children of her own, she juggled a direct marketing career in Vancouver and motherhood in Mission. What's On magazine allows Ellen to utilize all of these experiences. It is not only about business and events, but the stories and people that make up the diverse tapestry of our community. Marilyn, could you announce the winner, please?
And the winner is What's On magazine mission, Ellen Nguyen.
Thank you to the Celebration of Arts jury, Mission Arts Council, and the Cultural Resources Commission for this award. It is an honor and a pleasure for What's On Mission to advocate for arts and culture in our community. We are so fortunate to have such a wealth of talent that makes my job so super easy. I would also like to say congratulations to all the other award winners and nominees tonight for their contribution to arts and culture and mission. Thank you so much.
And now it's time for the Arts Advocate Organization Award, a not-for-profit group or society that has assisted a cultural event or an individual artist in offering opportunity or in providing volunteers, services, or other advocacy. This year, the award goes to the Mission Museum. The Mission Museum operates under the Mission District Historical Society, registered charitable nonprofit. The museum exists for the purpose of preserving the history of Mission by the ways of collection, preservation, research, and interpretation of 3-dimensional objects relating to our community's history. The Mission Museum offers a variety of annual educational programs for both adults and children. The Mission Museum also participates in many festivals and events throughout the year, such as Heritage Week, the Mission Arts Council Children's Festival, Canada Day, Mission Fest, Halloween, and Veterans Week. The museum attracts local, national, and international visitors to our community. Congratulations to the Mission Museum.
My name is Kate Feltrin. I'm the manager of the Mission Museum. Thank you for this award in the category of arts advocacy on behalf of the Mission Museum and the Mission District Historical Society. I'm accepting this award on behalf of all of my predecessors at the Mission Museum, including Dorothy Crosby, who established the Foundation Collection in 1972, and Ethel Ogle, the first president of the Mission District Historical Society. Looking towards the future, we hope to continue building awareness of the cultural value of historic spaces in our community and how they can help us to better understand the past through dialogue and engaging experiences. Thank you again for this honor.
We now move on to Arts Advocate Individual, an individual patron, volunteer, or advocate for the arts and culture. This year, the award goes to Newton Enoch. Newton grew up in Mission and studied music from the age of 9. He's always enjoyed bringing people together. Most recently, Newton founded the Rail Yard in Mission in October of 2015. It boasts a state-of-the-art audio and lighting systems capable of recording each live event. The venue has sold out most events that have been held there and continues to be a sought-after stage for local and non-local artists to perform. He recently founded and is president of the newly formed Rail Yard Society for Performing Arts. Through their youth open stage program, they have since 2016 provided free music and live performance education workshops for people ages 8 to 19. Congratulations to Newton.
Well, thank you, Mission residents, and thank you to all of the people who volunteered for COTA, which is the celebration of the arts that we do here in Mission City. I'd like to thank the Cultural Resources Commission as well for recognizing the fact that we all need kind of recognition in this way. And also like to thank the Mission Arts Council. Thank you very much I really appreciate the opportunity to be an arts advocate in Mission, and to be recognized for it's just the next level. So thank you all very much. Take care.
Time to hear from another of our music nominees, Roads Unknown. This four-piece delivers their catchy and relatable compositions with sweet harmonies and soaring roots instrumentation. Let's give them a rousing Mission welcome.
So wound up by who you need to be that you can't see. Oh, the good right in front of you, the forest and the trees. You had it all in stone, held your dreams in your hands, but a sudden twist of failure laid your soul bare to the bone. You gotta take your weary heart and wear it on your sleeve. You gotta let your brothers know that even you can bleed. You were never meant to walk the broken roads alone. And if you wanna run, just lay down your heavy load. Is wearing thin and your heart is harbor bound. It's time to raise the anchor and set your heart to dream again. You gotta take your weary heart and wear it on your sleeve. You gotta let your brothers know that even you can bleed. You were never to walk the broken roads alone. And if you wanna run, just lay down your heavy load. And wear it on your sleeve. You gotta let your brothers know that even you can bleed. You were never meant to walk the broken roads alone. And if you wanna run, just lay down your heavy load until you're lost in the ebb and flow. And there are mercies you only know when you've got someone to hold. Oh, lay it down. Oh, let it go. And if you wanna run, just lay down your heavy load.
Thank you, Roads Unknown. Our final category for the night is the individual and group awards. These are the artists that make our community vibrant with music, performing arts, visual, and literary arts. The first category is visual arts individual. The nominees are Terry Phaneuf. Terry has always loved art and as a child would watch her mother work in pastels and oils that in turn fostered an avid interest in the pursuit of her own artistic abilities. In the late 70s, Terry began painting with oils and really enjoyed working with the medium. She soon found her passion teaching others oil painting in her home-based studio in Saskatchewan. When she moved to Richmond in 1991, life intervened and she put her painting on hold until she retired to Mission in 2005. Though Terry originally worked in oils, she now focuses on watercolors and pastels. Terry cannot imagine not having art in her life and loves to share this passion as much as she loves learning and growing from other artists. Our next nominee in this category is Camille Atebi. Camille is a multifaceted artist from Mission. She writes plays, short fiction, poetry, and acts in film and television, as well as on stage locally at opening night theatre. Camille has now ventured into the world of visual arts and has produced a collection of acrylic paintings which very much reflect her knack and her passion for storytelling in a new creative medium. Often the idea for a painting would develop from a punchline, a what-if situation deposited by one of her children, or an idea for a play that was too short to be more than a single image. Our next nominee in this category is Marilyn Fraser. Marilyn has had a lifelong love of art that led her to be living her dream of becoming a full-time practicing artist. Her journey began in 2006 when she first started creating beautiful wearable art. She developed a love of working with silver and craving to learn more about the medium. She studied silversmithing at SFU and the Mountain Gems in Burnaby. Her dream of becoming a full-time silversmith came true when she established Recapture Jewelry Design in 2011. As an artist who loves to travel, silversmithing has become not only an artistic journey, but a literal journey, allowing her to see parts of the world through a creative lens. Our next nominee is Donna Walsh. Donna found her passion for clay in the 1970s while raising her small children. On a short hiatus from her nursing career, she took a pottery class and was hooked. Fast forward to the present time, Donna's kids are grown. She has retired and is finding meaning and excitement every day in her studio. Whether she is cutting off a new piece of clay or emptying a warm kiln of completed pottery. She is living in Mission, surrounded by acres of cedar trees, a view of the mountains, and sounds of a naturally running creek. This peaceful environment provides her with a place to indulge in her passion, to create pottery enveloping the influences of nature. Donna is so grateful for the ongoing support and interest in her work. Our last nominee in this category is Michelle Lusk. Michelle started her working life as a hoist operator on a construction site. She did not go to art school, but yet here she is, a full-time glass artist, loving every second. Over the years, she has learned several different disciplines involving glass. She is a West Coast gal through and through, and is inspired every day by the stunning nature she is surrounded by. The cozy days spent in the studio behind the torch with the door open while it pours with rain are some of her most creative days. Michelle is so grateful that customers from around the world want her work and allow her to continue to follow her passion. Marilyn, would you like to announce the winner, please?
And the winner is Donna Walsh.
Yay, Donna!
Okay, thank you so very much. I am just blown away. Mission has got a wonderful arts council and a wonderful art community, and I'm so pleased to be part of that community. And to be recognized like this is such an honor to me. I would like to thank the Mission Arts Council, the CODA jury, all the other nominees, and all my family and friends and everybody that supports me. Thank you so much. One last thing is I would like to dedicate this award to my dear friend and mentor, who I'm sure is smiling down upon us from her studio in the sky. So here's to you, Molly.
Our next award is the Individual Performing Arts, and this year the award goes to Glenn Leahy. Glenn grew up in Newfoundland and lived much of his adult life in Vancouver before moving to Mission about 2.5 years ago. For Glenn, the arts has always been a passion and a huge part of his life. Aside from his board activities, Glenn is an enthusiastic volunteer at the Mac Haunted Attraction, as well as an active member of the Opening Night Theatre Society and a member of the Giving Back Committee in Mission. Glenn has thoroughly enjoyed being part of the Mission Arts Council and hopes his involvement with the MAC has had positive effect on the arts community and looks forward to continuing on with the Mission Arts Council. Congratulations, Glenn. Our next award is the Individual Literary Arts. This year, the award goes to Elspeth Futcher. Elspeth has lived in Mission for almost 30 years. She has written numerous murder mystery events for various groups and venues in Greater Vancouver. In 2015, Elspeth was approached by the stage to write an original murder mystery for their patrons. That led to 15 other murder mystery events written for the stage. She has had the pleasure of writing for fundraisers held by the Mission Firefighters Spouse Appreciation Night, the Big Brothers and Big Sisters Association of the Fraser Valley, and the Mission Arts Council. Congratulations, Elspeth.
Gracious. My thanks to the COTA jury and the CRC and the Mission Arts Council for the honor of this award. May I say that writing the murder mysteries for the stage, Big Brothers and Sisters of the Fraser Valley, for the Mission Arts Council as fundraisers was a great thrill and very enjoyable, and receiving this award is simply the icing on the cake. Thank you again very much.
We now move on to the Individual Music Awards. Our first nominee is Markaran Music. Markaran Music was born from their long-distance romance with years of commuting between Canada and New Zealand, blending Mark's alternative rock reggae style with Karen's jazzy folk blues has created a funky folk fusion style of musical fun. Not focused on any one genre, their unique songwriting and theatrical comedy adventures explore the human condition through real-life experiences, uniting people with laughter and intricate guitar patterns. Their musical goal is to bring people together and alleviate loneliness by sharing music. They donate much of their time to a project they helped create along with Newton Enoch in 2015 called the Youth Open Stage Project, where they mentor, educate, and encourage youth performers of all genres and ages. Our next nominee is Roads Unknown. A product of Mission British Columbia's burgeoning music scene, Roads Unknown is a four-piece that delivers their catchy and relatable compositions with sweet harmonies and soaring roots instrumentation. It took just a few impromptu collaborations at an open mic for Michael Jansen and Tony O'Hara to realize that their voices, a warm baritone and a rusty tenor, were destined to harmonize. They were soon joined by percussion bassist Solomon Jansen and Jenny Bice on fiddle. Combining wistful lyrics and playful banter, they performed their electric fusion of folk, blues, and country that's hard to define, but somehow always feels like home. Marilyn, may we please have the winner?
And the winner is Roads Unknown.
Yay!
I would love to thank the community of Mission for being so nurturing to artists, and especially in our case for musicians. The musical thread throughout the city of Mission is what bound this group together. The Mission Folk Music Festival is actually the reason that at least one band member even moved to this community. So I'd like to very much thank Mission for being such a nurturing place, and I would love to thank Jenny and Solomon and Michael for being spectacular human beings and musicians. And I believe that, as one of the lyrics of one of Michael's songs says, Mission is a place where you feel that you belonged all along.
Nice. Yeah, I would very much like to echo those sentiments and thank the jury for this celebration of the arts, Mission Arts Council and the CRC, as well as all of the other amazing musicians that are in this category. It's amazing to win it, but it's also incredible to recognize how many incredible players and musicians and artists there are in Mission.
Our last award of the evening is the Lifetime Achievement Award. This award is given to an individual who has made contributions of outstanding artistic significance throughout his or her life. Our recipient this year is Herman Jansen. Herman was born in 1951 in Santa Catarina, Brazil. At age 9, Herman began a 2-year journey to build his first instrument, a full-size violin built entirely from Brazilian woods. He studied cello with the well-known music teacher and conductor Ludwig Sia. He also gained valuable experience maintaining and repairing the string instruments for the Paraná University Symphony Orchestra. After a successful career in construction, he started building violins again. Herman's insatiable quest for knowledge about his craft led him to travel and study extensively, conducting research in such places as Venice, Bologna, Cremona, and Germany. Presently, Herman builds his violins in a studio on his property in Mission, where he lives with his wife. Congratulations, Herman.
I've always have been a very passionate person, but violin making struck a chord in my heart. I grew up with it. When I ended up with a carving knife in my hand and some tools and some wood, I just couldn't stop. I loved it. It was so deeply ingrained. And then when the instrument was finished, hearing great players play the instruments and making sound and music, it was the icing on the cake. Violin makers go by their name, so my violin's the carrier label Herman Jansen. I grew up in Brazil, and my father was a luthier as well. That's what he did all of his life. So at the age of 9, I started my first violin. I finished it by the time I was 11, and by the time I was 14, I'd built 3 violins and 1 cello. As a luthier, there are a number of important things that you have to observe to build a good instrument. Form, proportions, materials, everything plays a role. But I have been quite fortunate in finding a big log of spruce in the mountains here in British Columbia. And I've built some of the best sounding instruments from that log. Violin making was actually something that I got back into by default. At the age of 35, I had a severe electrical accident. I burnt both of my hands to a crisp. That put an end to my construction career. When we finally decided that we were going to embark on this new profession, we looked for a quiet place in Mission. And this is one of the most quietest places next to the monastery. We have a lot of lakes to the north of us in the mountains, and there's always a nice current of clean air. I'm just a recent member of the Mission Arts Council. I saw what they were doing in the summer, very engaged at Heritage Park and other venues, and they're very proactive. There are a lot of artists in Mission. It's kind of a secret, a hidden secret. Not too many people know about it. And why not be a part and join forces?
First, I would like to thank the District of Mission, the Arts Council, and the Mission Arts Committee, who does the adjudicating. And last but not least, the Mission Arts Council, which does so much to support us with its very qualified staff. I would also like to congratulate the other nominees. Very qualified and deserving. I respect you for your achievements and for your dedication. Achievements don't come without a lot of hard work and sweat, but they're also markers of what happens in the journey of every artist that achieves higher levels. These markers invariably have been people without whom it would have been difficult to rise to these higher levels. I'm thinking of the relentless prodding of my father, who had the patience of Job, and my mother on his side. Every time one of the siblings would finish an instrument, mother would bake a cake. It was like a birthday celebration. This instilled a tremendous confidence in my brothers, my siblings, and myself, which we carried throughout life. At the age of 35, I was involved in a substantial accident. I burnt both of my hands to a crisp. When I arrived at VGH Hospital, they took the skin off my hands, both hands, as if it was gloves. But there was something interesting that happened. The next morning, as I was pushing the IV pole down the hallway, feeling sorry for myself, I happened to walk past an open door. From the bed, a patient shouted words of encouragement to me. I approached the open door, and I asked, "Do you know me?" He says, "No, you don't, but I can tell. You will be just fine. Just stay positive and be encouraged. Don't despair." As I'm looking at him, I noticed he had lost his left arm and, as far as I remember, his right leg. Walking away from that door, I thought, who am I to feel sorry for myself? This man who had lost limbs was encouraging me. That was the day I decided no more feeling sorry for myself. And after many days, hours and days and months of physiotherapy, I regained the use of my hands, which now build these wonderful instruments. And thirdly, from my perspective, my Creator healed my hands. No grafting was required. To the astonishment of the attending physician, the skin grew back without grafting. And I owe a lot to people, to my Creator, for being in the place where I'm at today. In the times we live in, we need to love each other, respect each other, and cheer for each other. And that's what I would like to do, cheer you on. You artists who competed, you are worthy of equal honor and respect. I am grateful. I am so thankful to live in this city with a lot of very, very high-level professional and also amateur artists. I also am so thankful for the Mission Arts Council for encouraging us to rise to higher levels. Thank you for this great and tremendous honor that you entrusted me with. I appreciate it very, very much.
This concludes our 2020 Celebration of the Arts Awards. Congratulations to all the nominees and winners. On behalf of the Mission Cultural Resources Commission and the Mission Arts Council, we would like to thank all who support the arts in our community. We hope you have enjoyed the evening. For those of you who would like to continue celebrating the arts, I encourage you to visit culturalarts.ca Mission for a list of virtual events that will be happening in Mission to celebrate Cultural Days between September 25th and October 25th of this year. I'm Jo Priestley. It's been my honor to host the 2020 Celebration of the Arts. Good night, be kind, be calm, and be safe.